Hey, how's it going? It's going good? All right. What's up, you guys? Mama Coo, a coo, 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 coo. I just wanted to make a video. I wanted to make a quick story time. Well, it's not going to be a quick story time, but it is going to be something that I felt like I had to share. A lot of you guys had questions about it, and I'm just here to tell you guys my story. One last time, I don't want to talk about I don't want to tell the story again. I will talk about it eventually because I know that a lot of people are going to have questions after this, but hopefully this answers a lot of you guys' questions already. Um, I know a lot of you follow me on Instagram, and a lot of you know and have heard my story, but I wanted to share it one last time on an actual video because maybe it'll help you understand something similar that you're going through. Hopefully it helps you understand me a little bit because it did these things, these horrible things that happen to everybody makes you who you are. It doesn't define who you are, but it does make you who you are at the end of the day. It makes you more prepared. It makes you smarter. It makes you braver. It makes you stronger. There's so many good things and bad things that happen to people, but out of everything, I feel like there's something that you get. There's something that you learn and you keep with you like forever. You don't just lose this shit. You don't get cheated on. You don't get beat down. You don't get bullied and not learn something from it. You know what I mean? There's tons of shit that people go through, and a lot of them like to keep it to themselves. A lot of them like to talk about it, and I'm going to talk about mine because I feel like if there's one person that's going through this similar situation or anything at all, sit back because I feel like you're gonna live. You're gonna live, even though if you feel like dying sometimes, you feel like everything is going wrong and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Well, I'm here, and this is what I've gone through, and this is what I've made it through. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. I almost ate my hair right now. Almost about a year ago, last year, um, during, I think it was the day before, it was July the 3rd, I'll never forget it. It was the day before 4th of July, and I was living with my sister at the time in her house that my grandma rented out to her. I was living with my sister. I ended up living there because she was actually going through something. She was going to be on some medication, and then I needed almost like a place to go, like right away. So I ended up being there with her, and it just worked itself out. After a few months being there, things were starting to get a little rocky between my sister and I. We started bumping heads, just like sisters do. But I felt the time that I was there, she was there with her baby daddy and her daughter, who was pretty much the same age as my youngest daughter. They were only a month apart, and they were around 1 year old, almost 2. And then I was there with my my oldest daughter, who was 8 at the time, Asia. I had Asia and Shia with me. So we were there, and during our fights and our arguments, I noticed that I was getting this gut feeling like something was happening slowly. Something was off. I had to, just something. You know when you get that gut feeling and you're just like, watch what you're doing, watch what you're saying. Something's going on here. Well, one particular night, my aunt and my uncle had called me and asked if Asia, my daughter, could spend the night with them because their granddaughter was going to be over, and they got along so great. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I ended up leaving that night too. I didn't want to stay there. I remember leaving from time to time because I was just trying to get away from my sister, trying to give her a break, not wanting to be around each other. Maybe that'll ease things for me staying there, and us living together. And I was so fucking wrong. I left. They said they were going to drop her off around 12 o'clock, I think. And so I remember being there at 12 o'clock. They dropped her off in the front of the house. I got my 2 daughters, and I walked in the house. That same morning, I guess my sister was had a little plan of her own with my mother. I walked in and I noticed that there was a dog there, and I noticed it was my sister's dog. It was this big old like bulldog thing, and it was just a huge ass dog. And I remember it was knocking the babies over. Every time I'd walk by, it would knock the babies over. I started kicking the dog, like, get away, get away, get away. Get away, get away, get away now. Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay. So I was like, get away, fucking dog. So I'm so stupid. My sister ends up hearing me kick the dog and saying, get the F away, pretty much. She comes in and she goes, don't kick the dog again. And I was like, it's knocking the babies over. And she's like, don't kick the dog again. And I think she gets her daughter and she takes her in the kitchen where she was. So I was like, oh, hell no. I'm not even going to deal with this. I'm going to walk to my grandma's. I was like, we're going to go to my grandma's. I was like, come on, you guys, let's go to grandma's, yeah? So it was like 12 o'clock. So we were about to walk out of the door, and the dog comes and knocks Shia over again. Shia's like crying and stuff. I kick the dog, and I'm like, my sister comes marching in, gets up to my face, and goes, get out before I call the cops. And I'm thinking, are you serious? Call the cops? Call the cops on me for this? I'm your sister, and call the cops. Like, don't you think that's being a little dramatic? And she was like, and I go, call the cops? Really? You're going to call the cops on me for getting the dog away? She's like, get out before I call the cops. So I was like, I wanted to just, ugh. So I was like, okay. So I got my girls, and we went walking to my grandma's. We get to my grandma's, I set them down. They automatically start playing, running around. And I'm like, yo, we need to talk to you in the other room, Grandma. She goes and she's like, what? Why would she say that? And I'm like, I have no idea. And I'm like panicking. I'm like, because at that time, I really didn't have anywhere else to go. I was like, I didn't have a plan B. And I thought, I was just like, oh, great, here we go. Moving, doing this, doing that, making sure my girls are comfortable. I was just like, here we go again. She was like, don't worry, let's have lunch and everything will be okay. Don't worry. She's like, I'm going to make lunch right now. Just sit back, relax, don't worry about it. So I'm sitting there, we have lunch, watch TV, and I noticed that I need Pampers, I need Shia's bag. I tell Asia, she's 8 at the time. I go, Asia, can you go down to Thea's house and go get her pamper bag? She was literally right down the street. So she goes and she runs over there. She comes back. She goes, it's not there. And I go, it's right by the recliner. It's right by the recliner in the living room, in the first living room. And she goes, okay. So she goes, and I notice that she doesn't come back right away. And she should be back already. So I go to my grandma and I go, hey, can you call Maudie because Asia should be back by now? My grandma goes in the room, calls her, and then comes back. And I remember she was holding the phone, and she goes, and I see the look on her face, and she goes, she said she took Asia, and she's not going to bring her back. And I jump up right away, and I go, what? She goes, she took her, and she said she's not going to bring her back. And I just remember flying out the door. I flew out the door. I'm skinny. I can run pretty fast. So I ran over there. I hit the screen because I was running so fast and bounced back. And I just start pounding on the wall of the house, like the whole wall. I was missing the door. I was hitting the door. I was hitting the windows. I was like trying to break in. I was like the Tasmanian devil trying to get in that house. And all of a sudden I see her baby daddy open the door, and he goes, and right away, he goes, Alizé, I have nothing to do with this. I don't agree with it. I have nothing. And I was just like, where is she? I was like, where is she? Bring her. I was like turning into the Batman and the Hulk because I was like screaming. Everyone in Gonzales, because that's where this took place, everyone in Gonzales probably heard me screaming my lungs out. And he was just like, hold on, I was like, I'm going to call the cops. You don't take someone else's kid. You don't do that. You go to jail. You go to prison. You can't kidnap people. It's just not how this happens. It's not how it works. He calls her and he goes, bring her back, Mari. Bring her back. Your sister's here. And I'm like, tell her to bring her back. I was like going crazy. She's on speakerphone. I don't know if she knew she was on speakerphone, but she was on speaker. And she goes, shut the door. Shut the door. Do not talk to her. Don't talk to her. Shut the door. And I'm like, he knew that I was going to lose it. He knew that this was wrong. He knew that everything was going to get crazy. I run all the way back to my grandma's, crying, sobbing, crying. I walked back in the house. I was already tired from crying and running. I remember sitting there and I said, you better call them because I'm going to call the cops and tell them that they kidnapped my daughter, because that's exactly what they did. I ended up in the restroom just curling up in a ball, crying my eyes out. So bad that I called my aunt and my uncle. I don't know which one I called first. And I go, I need you here. I need your help. Help me, please. They come immediately because I think that they knew in my voice that I was on the verge of doing something really stupid. And my mom and everybody knew that my life was my kids. My life is my kids. I live my life for my kids. And they were trying to take my life away. So that's almost like they're trying to kill me. My mom knows that I would do anything for my kids. I mean anything. I would do anything for my kids. And it's almost like she knew how to get me. My sister knew how to really get me hard. They knew where to attack just to, I don't know, fuck with me. So all day, the rest of the day, I was crying. They were all trying to talk me off the cliff, pretty much. I remember the cops came after a while. Cops came. Everybody thought that this was so beyond wrong. Everybody. Called the cops. Cops came and they go, why would your mom do this? Why would your sister do this? They end up calling them and go, hey, you need to bring her daughter back because this is against the law. And they go, well, we were afraid for her life. She was beating her, starving her. She's on drugs. She's wild and verbally abusive. She's this, she's that. And I was like, and I remember when the cops were telling me all this, they were like, so you're okay, right? You don't do, and I go, my daughters would have, like, I never thought that I would be at this point in my life. Like, I was trying to convince someone that I was a good mom. And I go, my other daughter, my youngest, there would be bruises on her. She would shy away from me. She wouldn't want to be with me. And they go, you have another daughter? And I go, yeah, she's in the other room. And they go, can we look at her? And I'm like, oh my God. They didn't even say that I had another kid. I went, grabbed my youngest, brought them, and I'm like crying, taking off her jacket, picking up her shirt, picking up her pants. I was literally crying because I was like, this is just so surreal. This is so surreal. I cried all night. I remember waking up and I was like crying all day, passing out because I was so tired, and then waking up and be like crying, remembering everything. It was like a nightmare. The first, I can't even say the first day, the first few weeks were really bad. And I was in a very dark, dark, dark place in my life. And I go, oh my God, I hope this is it. I hope this was just like a game they played, and they really just, like, that was just so abusive to me. Like, as my mother taking my daughter away, like, that was just so abusive to do something like that to me. The next day, I go to Hollister. I'm looking for my mom. I called Hollister PD. They show up. She's not at home. They keep calling her. She doesn't answer. Gonzales, Hollister PD, they're ready to send out a search warrant for my mother and do like a missing child or something like that. That's what they were telling me. They told my grandma, they go, you need to call your daughter, which is my mom, and you need to tell her that we're going to send out a search warrant for her arrest. She's going to go to jail. You cannot take someone else's child, no matter what. And so that's what my grandma said. And within like 2 hours, I got a call from, I think it was Hollister PD. And this is where everything got worse. They tell me, we know where Asia's at. And I go, where is she? And they go, she's with her father. And I go, wait, she's with her father? And they go, yeah, she's with her father. She's at his house. And I go, her father? And they go, yes, so and so. And I'm like, and I just started crying. I go, where is he? I haven't seen him in almost 9 years. He left because he had a restraining order. I filed a restraining order. My mom and my sister were on that restraining order with me. And that was like almost 9 years ago. And after he got a restraining order, I got a restraining order on him. He dipped out. The last time I ever heard of him, he was in Nevada. And I was just crying. I go, where is he? Where does he live? What's his number? And they go, we can't give you that information. And I go, my daughter. And they're like, do you have paperwork on your daughter? And I go, what do you mean? And they go, do you have full custody? And I go, no, he left when she was like 2 months maybe. And I've never seen him again. And they go, well, we can't do anything. That's her biological father. I was dying. I just remember thinking, oh my God, my poor baby. She's with someone. She's with someone that she doesn't know. She's with someone that I was thinking, where is she showering? Who's next to her? Where is she sleeping? Who's next to her? What is she eating? Who's cooking for her? What is she wearing? Who's washing her clothes? Who's brushing her hair? Everything. I was just like, Shia needs her sister. Shia was like little and she was like in love with Asia. I was like, they're too separated. This is too long. And then I went to, after this had happened, right the week after they had taken her, I went to the first Monday, like the next week, and I went on a Monday to the courthouse to file paperwork to get my daughter back. They told me, paperwork has already been filed. And I go, what do you mean? And they go, he's already taken you to court. And I go, really? And I go, when was this filed? And they go, oh, like a few weeks ago, before they even took her. And my mom's name and my sister's name was on the paperwork. And I remember I was living in a house where I wasn't even safe, and my kids weren't even safe from my sister and my mom. And I remember coming back crying and crying and crying. I hadn't talked to Asia. Shia hasn't seen her or even spoke to her. It was just really, really bad. It was really, really bad. Weeks turned into months until I finally had court. I finally went to court, and I went, and he was standing there with his lawyer that I didn't know at the time that my mother had bought for him. I went in, and they first said, you guys are going to have mediation to work out a schedule. And my intention was not to keep him out of her life after that. After he's been gone for so long, and him popping up and wanting to be in her life all of a sudden, I thought, good, you're not going to go anywhere this time. You're going to be her father. You need to be, whether you're a good dad or a bad dad, you need to be there. She needs to know who you are. So that's what I told the mediator lady. And I go, but I want my daughter back. I've had her for 9 years. See, this man doesn't know her yet. He needs to build that. He needs to. And I was like, and then the way that they took her, I go, and I was crying. I was like, the way that they took her, it's so traumatic for her and myself. And then that's when he goes, can I speak? She's on drugs, from what her mother and her sister have been telling me. She's abusive. She's verbally abusive. And my daughter's going to know the truth. And I go, I was literally trying to sit in my seat. Because I knew if I acted crazy, everything he said would add up. And this is where it got even worse. He's like, my daughter's going to know the truth. And she's going to know that she was like, he was like, we don't celebrate holidays. We don't celebrate birthdays. We don't celebrate anything. She's going to know that. She's going to know that Santa Claus isn't real. She's going to know that the Easter Bunny isn't real. She's going to know that her birthday isn't something to celebrate. And I was like, these are all holidays that parents live for because the kids. You're trying to take her childhood away from her. And then I noticed he was wearing funny stuff. I guess he claims he's a black Hebrew now, and he's in this religion, and Asia's going to be in that religion with him. And she's going to know. He won't even let her wear the American flag because he said it's evil. And I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, my poor baby is going to have everything that she's ever learned taken away from her. What the hell was my mother thinking? I guess my mother left town with my sister months later. We went back into court, and this is what the judge says. Due to the allegations, because he had a lawyer and I didn't, and I was sitting there crying. Because I was like still like letting it settle that my daughter was with this man that was trying to shove his religion down her throat and even making her dress differently, forcing her to be someone she really wasn't. My heart was breaking for my daughter. Not because she wasn't with me, that too, but it was breaking the fact that she was going through probably more because she didn't understand. And I understood what was happening. The judge goes, due to the allegations, we're going to have an investigation because these are very serious allegations against you, Miss Lantalan. I'm going to have Asia remain in her father's custody, and you're going to have visitation with a stranger, pretty much. I remember walking out of there, and I was wailing. I was crying. Everybody saw me. The investigator was running after me. He was like, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm a good investigator. I'm really good at what I do. I will find out everything. No, he was like, it's just a bad day for you in court. Don't worry about it. And I was crying. It took me forever to drive all the way from Monterey to Salinas because I was pulling over and crying. It was just a really, really bad day. I remember seeing her for the first time being supervised by this stranger. And her head was all wrapped up. She was in a white dress. And you can't really hug them right away. You can't really be close to them. I wanted to touch her hair. I wanted to hug her. I wanted to everything. And you can't do those things. And they have to listen to everything you say. And Asia was crying. I was crying. And then she had to go away because I could only spend an hour with her. The second to third visitation that I had, the lady already knew that everything was false. I can't say too much, but she already knew the truth right away, period. And she felt sorry for me and her. And she had her concerns about this whole religion as well, because what Asia was saying, she was like brainwashed. Every time she would come to me, she was talking about this religion, and it was so scary. And it was just horrible. I remember begging and having to ask permission to bring Shia. And I had to be okay with him. Right when Shia saw Asia, Shia was like crying, screaming. It was just cute. It was really cute, and it was really like touching, because we had to split them up after a while, because Asia had to leave, and Shia was just screaming, no, no. It was just really, really, it was really nice, but it was just sad, you know. This has been going on for a really, really long time. I finally got a lawyer that actually fought for me and wasn't fighting to be paid. She fought for me, and after a while, my mom stopped paying for his lawyer. And the whole time I was thinking, I need to be in court with my mom and my sister, because everything that he would say, it was what they were saying to tell him. I remember being in court, and the lawyer, we would be stepping outside of court, and we all have to talk. And there was so many investigations, because every time we'd go back to court, there were new accusations. She's on drugs, she's homeless, she's abusive, she's starving them. I abandoned her for 2 years. Just really horrible stuff that I won't even include in here. Every investigation came up false. Every investigation was good, because it came up to be that they kept lying. After a while, I was able to have at-home visits. She's able to come over and spend a few hours with me, and then it came to where she was spending a few nights with me, and she was comfortable wearing her old clothes, because for a while she was saying, no, I can't wear that. There's been a lot of crazy things that have happened, and she isn't the same little girl that I had. She's really, really angry a lot. She's really, really sad and depressed. She's really confused. She's really confused with this religion thing. She's just not the same little girl. She's really frustrated. She's not patient. She's not eccentric like she was. She's not as goofy as she was. And that's what breaks my heart, because my mother and my sister did this to hurt me, but what they really did was they kind of destroyed her a little bit. Everything fell on my daughter's shoulders. She's the one that's messed up. I'm an adult. I can deal with it. I can learn how to cope. She is only a little girl. She doesn't know. She looks at me like I'm the enemy. It's just really, really sad. It's really, really sad. And the time when I didn't have her, I remember going to family gatherings and no one wanted to say, "Hey, where's Asia?" I couldn't say she's outside playing. She's with Shia fighting. Everyone knew not to mention her. And the only one that was there for me through this whole year of of despair. The only one that was there for me at 3 in the morning, at 4 in the morning, at trying to make me eat, trying to holding me when I was crying, telling me to pray and pray and pray was my grandma. My grandma was there for every phone call I had, for the 20 times I would call her at night. She was there to guide me in my feelings. She was there to say, pray. You need to pray. You need to pray. Now, today, I look back on everything that had happened, and I am skipping a lot. But I just wanted to tell you guys that this is my story. This is what I went through, what I'm still going through, and I'm always going to be there for Asia, no matter if she's good, bad, crazy. I'm always going to be fighting for her. She tells me that she knows there's something wrong with her, that in here, like, she tells me that she's confused, she's sad, she knows, but she goes, you always fight for me though, right? Even when I say that I hate you sometimes and I don't mean it. But it's what they always told me. It's what everybody told me. She goes, you'll still be there, right? And I go, of course. I don't care if you hate me some days. I don't care if you don't trust me some days for what they've told you. I will always be there. No matter what. Sun or shine, rain or pouring, night or day. And my mother and my sister are gone to escape the heat of things. The only person that they really messed with was her. And we are rebuilding our relationship now because she's so confused on what she was told for so long. Those short months really messed her up, and it's scary and it's sad. But she's only 9, of course it would. It would anybody. There's so much I want to say, but I'm not full of anger anymore. I was for a long time. I've forgiven them for myself, not for them. I really wouldn't wish this on them or anybody, or even on my sister, because I think they underestimated who they tried to hurt. You know, it's me. They got me really down, but they didn't think that I was gonna make it. My mom knew how deep and depressed I can get sometimes, and for her to try to almost feed me a lethal injection, I feel like she tried to kill me. I feel, like she really tried to hurt me really bad. That's how I feel. My mom tried to literally end me doing this to me, and it didn't work. I kept waking up and starting over again. I kept waking up and started to try to fight for her. I kept fighting, and even though I sometimes felt like I should just give up, it's my mom and my sister. It's them. I can't win. It's the 3 of them, and he's their puppet. I didn't, and I held on to the very last of freaking ounce of strength that I had, and I made it. I'm alive. I made it. They are so wrong, and they will reap what they freaking sow. They will get their karma. They will. I don't know when. I don't know how. they will get it. And that's not my responsibility. That's just gonna be fate. And for them to keep attacking me here and there, spreading little lies and rumors when they're not even here in this town, they should leave me alone. And leave my daughter alone. They're not here to see what they created. They're not here to see what kind of person she is now, and depressed and confused, and they're not here for that. They just wanted to stir some stuff up and dip, and that's so fucking foul of them. That's so foul. But you know what? They're not my problem anymore. They're not ever going to be my problem anymore. I don't wish any bad on them. I just want them to deal with themselves, because that's going to be their downfall. They need to deal with themselves, and they need to find their own way. They're not my responsibility. They're not anything like that. I don't want to ever, ever, ever have any type of relation or connection with them whatsoever. I don't wish anything bad upon my mother. I hope she does well in whatever she pursues, whatever man's next in her life that she wants to conquer, as well as my sister. Looks only last so long, is all I'm going to say to them. It's what's in here, and it's what's in here that's gonna be forever, and that's gonna benefit them at the end of the day. But if I wanted to tell you guys my story, and to tell this story one last time. I will take questions. You guys are able to answer me. I mean, nothing's off limits. Nothing's, but I wanted to tell you guys what had happened, and a lot of family members that don't want to ask me, and they just want to know, or are curious, or anybody that followed me on IG, anyone that kind of saw the war between us, because I do post stuff, but it is all the truth. Nothing is made up. Everything is 100% the truth. When I say something about my past, it's the truth, and that's why I get so much heat for it, because there's nothing worse than the truth. And the truth is the reality of the truth. Sometimes people can't take that. But I just wanted to tell you guys that this is what I had gone through with my daughter, and our relationship is getting better. We're rebuilding our relationship, and it breaks my heart to say that, because I never thought, as a mom, you never think that you're gonna have to rebuild anything with your kids. It's always gonna be strong and passionate, and you guys are always going to have this connection, which we do, but it's just, this was a bump in our relationship, and I'm always going to be there for her. I'm always going to fight for her. I'm always, no matter what, going to choose my children over anything and anybody, because I chose to be a mom. This is not just, a quit job when I'm tired. This is not taking a break. This is a lifetime. And I want them to know that. So it's okay to break down. It's okay to feel like you lost sometimes. You win and you lose. It's just all a part of life. And even these horrible things that happen to each and every one of us, because everybody has their own story. This is just a little piece of mine. Sometimes you need to lose. Sometimes you need to feel that loss. Not this type of loss necessarily, but when you do feel it, and when it happens to you, there's always something that you could gain from all these ugly things that happen. All the good and the bad, there's always something you can gain. And with me, I learned a lot about my character. I learned a lot about my loyalty. I learned a lot about myself as a mom, and as a woman. I didn't know that I was this strong to be alive today. And I think that's the only thing that I wanted to tell you guys, is things like this happen to the most unexpected people, and you would think that you don't deserve this, but this made me a lot stronger. They underestimated a lot. They thought that they took me out, when no, they didn't. I'm here making a video. I'm here doing what I have to do, and I know that they're probably watching, so they can go fuck themselves and stay the hell out of my life. Period. But I hope this answered some questions. If you guys have any questions, you guys can always message me, email me, subscribe, like. There's going to be a lot of stories like this. There's going to be a lot of sad stories, a lot of happy stories. I'm sorry that it took so long to upload another video, but I hope you guys kind of stick around, I guess, because there's a lot more coming. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I really did kind of put this long, big ass story in like a little thing because I missed a lot. And I'll fill you guys in on the little things that have happened and that will continue to happen. But yeah, that's just a little piece of last year. It's going to be a whole new year pretty soon. So like and subscribe. Thanks you guys for watching. Sorry it took so long, but I'll see you guys next video, okay?